Hey guys, it's Barrett from the Gimpy Camper. We're coming at you today from Fort Mountain State Park here in Chatsworth, Georgia. It's just right down the road from the house. It's not a very far drive for me. I've drove through the area before, but I've never stopped by here, and I'll tell you, I was surprised. So let me just share a little bit of that with you. So the sites here, they're great, they're nice. A lot of them are pull-through sites. That being said, you got to be careful because some of them, are pretty steep curves and there's trees on both sides, so you got to be careful with that. Now, I think that on most of their sites, and most of them are level too, or fairly level, but on a lot of their sites, unless I have it marked specifically later in the video, I'm going to do my videos a little bit different this time, so I'm going to put that monotonous stuff that I think is really important to a few people, but not everybody, about what sites I recommend and what sites that I recommend avoiding. I want to put that at the end of the video. I want to timestamp that right here. So if this is what you want to see, just skip to that. But I'm going to start with more of a generalized thing about the campground here. So the Verizon service up here, it kind of stinks. I mean, it's hit or miss. You guys know I love text. I'm not one of those guys like, you can't go camping if you have a phone. I prefer to have my phone work. I prefer to have internet service. And we have one bar of 4G here, which is essentially useless. It loads a little bit whenever it wants to. It'll send out a text message intermittently, but it's essentially not usable data. And from some reviews that I read on Campendium, apparently AT&T has like 3 bars up here. So they went up here in this area. Got to give them credit there. So, it's fall here. You can tell that by looking at the leaves around me. It's beautiful up here. Me and Lola took one of the dogs. We went on a hike. I think it's about 1.5 miles. We went to the west overlook. I want to include some footage of that here. I'm just going to kind of show you around the campground a little bit, show you some different pictures, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll go over the specifics of the campground and which sites I recommend. Okay? Alright guys, so as far as the campgrounds and which sites I would recommend, I'm going to start by saying that if you want a site on the water, then that's going to be 46 through 51. And they're not right on the water, but you have a decent water view there. Granted, some of the leaves and stuff fell now, so I don't know what it looks like in the summertime, but it's pretty over there. And I will tell you that most of these sites are great sites. I'm gonna tell you a few that I would avoid. If I don't mention them in sites that I would pick myself, then that's just take it with a grain of salt, because you're probably gonna have a great site anyway. I'm gonna tell you the ones that I would specifically avoid. Like I said earlier, you got to be careful with the pull-through sites because some of them aren't as straight as others. The ones that I'm going to include in my better sites list here, they're better, they're longer, they're straighter, and that kind of stuff. So, you know, but like I say, I would say almost at any site here because this park is amazing. They did a really good job at spreading things out, and so you're not right up your neighbor's hiney everywhere you park. You know what I mean? You've all been there. You have a little bit of woods and trees around you, and I would say the spaces are separated usually by about 50 feet or so at least. And so I think they did an excellent job at planning that out. Now for the sites that I would pick to stay in, we're going to go with 10, 11, 15, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 61, and 63. I think those are some of the better sites here. Like I say, the pull-through sites that I mentioned there are nice and long, straight. 48 specifically is a huge, straight pull-through site. It's not on the water there, but it's right across the street from the campers with the water view. You can still see the water a little bit. I think that would be a great site. Two that I want to mention specifically are sites 42 and 44. So those are together, and they're kind of offset from the loop. So you have the loop here, and then you have about 15 feet, and then they're both connected there. And so because of that, if you're wanting to go with a friend, and I think that would be a good area for you if you needed two sites. Now the downside of that is because it's kind of parallel to the loop, and you have that 15 to 20 foot area, it's going to be hard to get a longer rig in there. So if you are going to get a camper up in there, say your friend's tent camping, I would say you'd be better to put the RV in 42 and the tent at 44. Because number one, at 44, the camping area with the picnic table and stuff, it's not level with the camper. It's up a few steps if I remember correctly. Alright, and now for the sites that I would recommend avoiding. This can be for a few different reasons. Some of them are because it's just the angle's not good, and some of them are because it's on too big of an incline, basically. And so those are going to be sites 2, 7, 33, 44, 45, and 62. Site 39 I made a special note about because I think it's even going to look like a pull-through site. Yeah, pull-through site downhill. Don't do it. Just don't do it. We've had a great adventure here at Fort Mountain State Park, and it'll be on my to-do list to do again one of these days when I get tired of going around to new places every other week to make new videos for people like you. Remember to like and subscribe so you can take advantage of those, especially if you find it helpful. Alright guys, so there's one more thing that I wanted to let you know. So I'm in site 24, which by the way happens to be a pretty good site. The only thing that I don't like about this site is that the picnic area and stuff's up on a couple of railroad ties high from where the camper is, and so that can trip you up if you're not careful. And the only time it really kind of bothered me is when I was using the outdoor kitchen, because I would walk over to the camper and the door that opens up would hit me in the head if I wasn't paying attention. So what I wanted to let you know about this loop though is 23, 24, and 25. When you first come into the gate, it looks like you have to turn right and go around the loop, and it says one way there. And of course, if you look to the left, you have the road coming back from the loop. But if you look really closely, right in the middle, there's another road there, and you can also take that road from the gate. That's the way that it's intended, and that goes to 23, 24, and 25. One last thing that I wanted to say about Fort Mountain State Park that I was excessively surprised in is they have cable TV. You see that? Cable TV. It's basic. Some of the channels for us were a little bit scratchy, but hey, that's more than we're used to. We don't even have cable at home. Still couldn't find anything to watch, hardly. But we had cable.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.